Hey folks, Mark and Bob with Fire Mountain Outdoors, and what are we going to do today, Bob?
Today we're taking a look at 4 different weapon lights that Webyshops.com sent us today for us to try to decide which one's going to be the best one for you to use.
That's right, so stick around. Alright folks, thanks for joining us today. We have this weapon light shootout where we have these 4 lights that were sent to us by Webyshops.com to evaluate and test and review so that we can tell you what we think about them and you can make your judgments based on our findings.
Alright, let's take just a real quick peek at what we've got going on here. First we've got the Viridian. This one has a claim to be the actual smallest light of the bunch, but that doesn't necessarily mean the actual size of the unit, but the actual lens on it.
And it does. And this one comes in at $169.
$169. And the actual lumens on this one, they're looking at 100 lumens of constant brightness on that.
And the next one would be the Crimson Trace CMR 202. And it is $139. It's also a very compact one with a little light lens offset to the side.
Then we're stepping into a little bit larger weapon lights. This particular unit is called the Inforce, and the APL, like this model right here, comes in at 200 lumens.
It does come in at 200 lumens, and that one is one of our lowest price ones at $116, Bob.
Right.
You know, I didn't mention the lumens on this one, and that's because it's not on the box. So we'll dig and find out. You'll find out later what the actual lumens are anyway. But last but not least would be the Streamlight TLR1. This is the largest of the weapon lights by a very small margin, and you're going to see what we think of that one.
Right, and this one comes in at 300 lumens, so that one packs a little bit more punch than, say, like the Inforce. But just because what they rated at doesn't necessarily mean that's what it's going to come in at.
That's right, and that is available from Webyshops.com for $129.
Oh, fantastic.
All right, so we have these 4 lights here from Webyshops.com. We told you the lumens and the price on them. You know, now is the time for a safety minute. Now, folks, this is super important. We don't take one of these weapon lights. I'm going to mount this on a frame, and now this, if I had the slide on here, then this would be a weapon. We do not use a weapon light to identify a target. If something goes bump in the night, do you go investigating your house with the weapon light? No, you don't, folks. You use a flashlight. This is very important. There's been tons and tons and tons of accidental shootings where people have accidentally shot the kid sneaking back home, or somebody coming into the hotel room. Well, it was the wife or the kid that went out to the bar for a drink and then fumbled with the key or something. We've got 4 basic safety rules that we always follow, and the most important one is you never point your weapon at something you're not willing to destroy. So if you're using your weapon light to identify targets, you are willing to destroy anything that you are pointing this at. So we don't use a weapon light. You don't use a weapon light. It's just stupid. So just stop right here. If you were thinking that you were going to get a weapon light to identify things that go bump in the night, stop. Don't do that. That's what flashlights are for. The reason we have a weapon light is after you have identified your threat, and it is a threat, and you know what it is for certain, and that it is something that you are willing to destroy, then the weapon light is used to illuminate your target. It's not to identify threats. Weapon lights are to illuminate your target so that you can stop that threat. Alright folks, we are trying the Viridian CTL, once again 15 feet away. Wow. Well, if you can read it, Now these are all measured, folks, with the battery supplied right out of the box, just like you would get them. We didn't do anything special with them, but you're going to notice that it's a much broader pattern with this one, but we've only got 14 lux showing on George. Alright, once again, 15 feet away, Crimson Trace CMR 202, and we've got George lit up. We're at 15 feet away, and we are showing that we have 2930 lux. We're going to say 29. It's stabilized. It's bouncing up to 30. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say 30. Now we're testing the Inforce APL. Once again, 15 feet away. And we are getting 186. About 186 out of the Inforce APL. We're going to test out the Streamlight TLR1 from 15 feet away and see how many lux that we can pick up at 15 feet. So there we are. You can see George. George isn't holding a weapon, and he's just a defenseless dummy. So that's good. I see 575 lux from the Streamlight TLR1.
Okay folks, so what we saw here was quite a wide variety in the beam intensity. So we wanted to try this on a human test subject. So boom, there was something in the night, and oh look, scary mark.
What light is that, Bob?
What we've got here is the Viridian CTL.
You know, and that's not very intense. It's not very bright. From my end, it's, you know, somebody's illuminating me and got me lit up. So that I'm not threatened or intimidated or scared by that light.
All right. So from there, we're going to take a look. We've got the Crimson Trace. This is the CMR 202.
That's a little bit brighter. That's intense enough to the point where it's annoying. I don't want to look at it or look directly at it. It's starting to blind anything that I could see around the periphery. That's more effective.
All right. Up next, we've got the Inforce. This is the APL.
Okay. That one gets me to the point where I want to shield my eyes. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look enough to even see around the edge so I can maybe identify anything. I just want to block that from my face.
All right. Okay, last up we have the Streamlight. This is the TLR1.
That thing is insane. That light itself, that is a weapon in itself. That's intimidating and threatening. That reminds me of like the cop lights you would see in the movies, you know, that are super intense. If a cop was gonna light you down while you're parked with your girlfriend or something, that's the light, that intensity. If you walk towards that light, you would end up in another dimension. That's, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that is brighter than hell. That's the one out of the four. That's intimidating. All right, folks, we're out here in the dark and we're doing some outside testing. And Bob's at 55 feet away. I'm going to start out with the Crimson Trace. And you can see the Crimson Trace. So we've illuminated Bob 55 feet away. That's the level of intensity with the Crimson Trace. All right, and now we're going to do the Viridian. The Viridian. It's got a little bit broader beam, but you can't really see Bob defined at all. I can barely see him with the naked eye. Can't really discern any distinguishing characteristics of him. I couldn't pick out his hair color or do anything like that. And now we're going to do the Inforce. Oh, yeah. There, the Inforce is definitely brighter. I can definitely pick out Bob. I can I can tell that he's wearing glasses. I can see he has facial hair, brown. Tell what color of clothes he's wearing. Pick out Fire Mountain Outdoors on the shirt. That's with the Inforce. And this is the Streamlight.
That's right.
You
don't see you at all. I can see a light.
Can definitely pick out all the characteristics with it. So there's the outside comparison at 55 feet.
Safety is a priority here at Fire Mountain Outdoors, and today is no exception. We are going to be trying different weapon lights, and we're going to do a safety check real quick just to ensure that there is a safe weapon being used today. Today we are using the Sig Sauer Mark 25, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to remove the magazine. We are going to rack the slide, and we're going to visually inspect and make sure that there isn't a bullet seated in that chamber. Once we have verified that the chamber is clear, then we can proceed to work with these weapon lights today. But in fact, I'm just going to take this a step further. We don't even need this barrel and slide anyway for the remainder of this test. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. And we're just going to be using a bare frame today that does have the Picatinny rail. So let's take a closer look at some of these lights. Here's the Viridian CTL. This is their compact tactical light. Let's take a look at our rating system on this. As far as the intensity goes, we gave this a 1 out of 4. You know, up close it does real good as, say, like a pen light, but out to 15 feet it really didn't do a whole lot other than just provide Mark with a little bit of assistance to be able to see in the room. Battery life was real strong at a 4 out of 4. Manufacturer claims we should only get about an hour. We ended up getting better than 2 hours on this particular unit. So again, 4 out of 4. The weight, give this a 3 out of 4. You know, for its size, it really doesn't weigh a whole lot. And we do kind of like the compactness of this particular unit. And so, 3 out of 4. Ease of use, this is one of the downfalls of this unit. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 4. If it was just as easy as hitting the button to turn on the light, you know, we'd rate that a lot higher. But when it comes down to programmability, you know, you're supposed to be able to turn it on, hit both buttons simultaneously to access the strobe mode. You get it there, but say you want to put it back on your constant light, you should be able to repeat the process and got nothing. That was something that came up from time to time, and found that by taking the battery out, we could reset it back to the factory setting and it would go back to being the solid light that we liked. Takes a standard CR2 battery, which is nice. A lot of different weapon lights these days come with those, and they're getting easier to find. When it comes down to value, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 4. This particular unit came in at $169, which was the most expensive unit out of the bunch. We really thought we would have got a whole lot more light for that kind of price. Combined total score on this, 2.2 out of 4. Let's check out the next one. So how does the Crimson Trace stack up? Well, let's rate it. Intensity, going to go a solid 3 out of 4. For its compact size, it does a real nice job lighting up hallways and bedrooms. Inside the home, this is going to do exactly what you need it to do. The battery life on this particular unit, we're going to give it a 4 out of 4. It met the manufacturer's claims. This particular unit went 2 hours and 15 minutes. Manufacturer says you're going to get a minimum of 2 hours, so it's right in there. The weight and size, I think it's a nice compact size. It hardly weighs anything. 4 out of 4. Ease of use. This is the downfall of this particular unit. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 4. And it's not based solely on how easy it is to actually use. It's just a nice on-off with 3 different modes. You have a solid stream of light. You have one that's actuated just by pressure alone, and then you have like the strobe feature here. Where it gets complicated on this particular unit is when you want to remove it or install it or change the battery. It's a pain in the neck. It really drags down this particular unit, and for me, it can be a bit detrimental. There are plenty of other options out there that are much easier to use and to actuate, install, change batteries, etc. Value, 3 out of 4. This particular unit comes in at about $139, which isn't a bad price for what you get. Combined total, 3.2 out of 4. Not a bad weapon light, and I can recommend it if you don't mind all the extra steps it takes to install one. Here we have the Inforce APL. This particular unit is rated at 200 lumens. It's made here in the United States of America. It has got a polymer type construction on this, which makes it real nice and light. Let's take a rundown through the different scores that we gave this. And for intensity, 3 out of 4. This thing is pretty intense. It is bright. As you can see, when we shined it on Mark's face, he felt discomfort. He felt like he wanted to look away. Really like the fact of that. Battery life, 3 out of 4. Manufacturer claimed you're going to get an hour and a half. That's precisely what we got. There are some other units that put out just about as much intense light that do last a bit longer, but I do think that an hour and a half is a suitable amount of time for constant on light time for a unit like this. Weight and size, 3 out of 4. It is made out of that polymer construction, so it is a little bit lighter. You would expect something like this to actually be a bit heavier. If you're looking for a full-size weapon light, something like this is going to look pretty handsome on your weapon. Ease of use. I love an easy-to-use weapon light. This is a 4 out of 4 as far as use. You've got your toggle switches on either side. Push it, it's on. Push it again, it's off. I love that. Putting it on is easy as flipping a switch, rocking it into place, locking it down. Boom, there you go. Turn it on, turn it off. I love that. Take it off, flip your switch again, it's off. And say what? You want to change that battery? You unscrew the lens. It's just like any other flashlight you've ever owned. You open that up and out pops your CR123 battery. I love the ease of use on that. 4 out of 4. Value, another 4 out of 4. Out of all the units that we tested, this was the least expensive at $116. Now, $116 is a lot of money, and if you're looking to spend that kind of dough on a weapon light, this was the least expensive that we tried, and this was going to be the most bang for your buck. Combined score, looking at all of our numbers there, 3.4 out of 4. So if you're looking for a good American-made weapon light for a full-sized framed pistol, the Inforce is a great way to go. This is the Streamlight TLR1S. This particular unit is powered by 2 CR123 batteries. The LED light is rated at 300 lumens, and it has an aluminum body. It is the heaviest and the largest of the bunch, but with that, there is the trade-off. You get the more powerful, intense light versus, say, like the smallest unit that we looked at today, which didn't put out much light at all. So let's run down the ratings real quick. The intensity, 4 out of 4. As you saw, this thing is a weapon in itself. It is one bright light. Battery, 4 out of 4. This thing is rated to go just 2.5 hours. This thing was still illuminated 24 hours later. Not sure if this is a freak or an anomaly, but this thing just went and went and went. Weight and the size, we're going to give this a 2 out of 4. This is large, it is heavy, but you know, that's the trade-off. If you want something that's going to be as powerful, you're going to have a larger unit. Ease of use, just a 2 out of 4. You know, putting this thing on isn't too bad. You just push your button in, and that opens up your rail, and you can snap that into place, and then it's on. Tighten that down here. Accessing your battery, you know, you flip that open, and that slides open, and then sometimes it's just a little bit difficult, like right now, getting that back into place so we can snap it down. The other problem with this was, you know, this particular unit is supposed to have a strobe feature. You know, monkeying with this, you know, you're supposed to just tap it down into momentary mode, you know, within like a half second or less, and hold. And that's supposed to put it into a strobe feature. It never did that for us. So on this particular unit, we probably would send it back. But, you know, for us, a strobe mode isn't important. We just like the constant light of it. Value, we're going to go 4 out of 4 on this. You know, we felt at $129, this was a very good value for the quality of weapon light that you got, for the intense light, for the length of time that that LED burned. It was pretty impressive. Great light, 4 out of 4 on the value. Overall, this was a 3.2 out of 4. This is a great weapon light if you want something that's large and powerful. For us, this may be our choice, even though it did not come in with the highest rating. But this is an incredible weapon light that you can use as a weapon on its own. So that's the rundown of all of the items here. You know, which one you like is going to be your choice. Are you going to go with something that's a little bit more compact, or are you going to go something that's going to be a little bit lighter at the same kind of size? So you've seen the results, but I got to ask, regardless of what the score was today, what was your favorite light?
You know, if I was going to keep any one of these, I'm going to have to go. I'm just amazed with the Streamlight TLR1, especially compared to the others. You know, there's a size disadvantage and there's a weight disadvantage, but from what I saw, the performance and what I would want in a weapon light, this is off the chain. That's what I'm looking for.
I would agree with you 100% on that. The battery life far exceeded what the claims were by the manufacturer. They claimed 2.5 hours at 100% luminosity. We got 4, 5, 6 hours out of this thing, which was just absolutely incredible.
Oh, yeah, and here's the thing. Guess what? We ran out of memory card on the thing. Eli went down the following morning. No, the following day after school. So, or after work. So it was darn near 24 hours, folks. And this thing was still lit up, that was bright enough that you could use it as a flashlight to illuminate a path. If you took it off of your weapon, you could use that. So, I mean, if you were going to get stuck at the end of the world or a bug out situation, this is it. It kept on going, and it was just insanely blinding. So yes, it's a little bit heavier, and it's longer, and it's bigger, but to me, this is a clear weapon. So
very good. Great weapon light system. You know, I'm not going to discount these other weapon lights. They're all great weapon lights in their own right. If you're looking for something that's lightweight and small, but bright enough to light up your hallway, every one of these is going to have its own benefit.
Yep. But I know the one I would like.
Same one I'd pick.
That's right. So, hey, folks, remember, you can't take back a bullet.
Be safe.
Have fun.
Happy shooting.
And always, thanks for watching.